Hello!
Hello!
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all here once again for another session with Rock Solid on a Sunday morning or whenever else you're watching it. My name is Nate.
My name is Lydia.
And we're going to be going through the session today with you looking at a specific topic, which we will get to in just a second. But before we do, let's, as we're kind of in the middle of July-ish, let's have a chat about summer, because essentially it is summer, right? I mean, it's nearly summer holidays. Hope you guys are looking forward to that. Are you looking forward to the summer holidays? I mean, the kind of summery vibes?
I am. I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully some nice weather.
Nice weather.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always hit and miss in this country, but it's always nice as well when the sun comes out and you can just sit outside and enjoy that. Is that your favourite thing about summer, Lydia?
I think it is the weather in the summer. I'm looking forward
The
this
weather.
year as well, like the Commonwealth Games.
Yes.
Got a few tickets, hopefully.
How many
So-
have you got? What are you going to go see?
I'm hopefully seeing the netball.
Oh, and you
Yeah.
play netball as well?
I do play netball, so
Wow, what
it'd be
do
great
you
to
know?
see it.
I'm going to see gymnastics. Those are the only tickets that I got.
I
think it's-
tried to get them, I didn't get them.
Well, I applied for like 5 different things, only got gymnastics, but I'm still excited about that. It should be loads of fun. I quite like gymnastics. It's impressive to see what humans can do. I wonder what you guys potentially going to see, or maybe you're going to watch some of it on TV. I think it's going to be on TV.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I would
Usually
assume
it is.
so. Come on, Birmingham. It will be on something. Anyway, let's start with our first activity for the day, and we're going to get you guys involved as well. Today's topic that we're going to be looking at is honoring your parents, okay? And we're going to be drawing some things out from the Bible, and we're going to be looking at what that means for us as well in our day-to-day lives. Now, before we do any of that, the activity that we'd love you to do is think about your family tree. So, a family tree is when you kind of go from generation to generation to generation, and they call it family tree, I guess, because you can draw a tree around it, and it kind of
so.
looks like branches coming out. I guess,
Yeah,
it looks like branches.
of your family.
Great, so this is something you might have done at school before, you might have drawn a family tree or whatever that looks like, but what we want to see if you can do is, I'm assuming that you know at least the name of maybe one parent or your guardian or someone like that who's in the generation above you, but do you know the name of their parents? And do you know the name of their parents and their parents and their parents? And see how far up the generations can you name someone's name. We'll give an example to help you out, and then we'll be over to you guys. How far up do you think you can go, Lydia?
Not very far. I can try. My parents are Ted and Rebecca.
Ooh, Ted, what a strong
Ted
name.
was Edward, but shortened. I don't know
Like
why I
it?
shortened to
No,
Ted.
that's fine, I like it.
Then my mum's parents are Brian and Kath. My
Okay.
dad's parents are John and Elsie, but then my granddad remarried, so
Okay.
biological mum was Noreen, I think.
Ooh, that is a
good
great name.
name.
Yeah.
Then the generation above that, I think I have a great grandma that was called Winifred.
Woo!
I think.
Winifred!
That's a
I
good
love
one.
that.
And then
Bring it back.
maybe a George, I think.
Okay, classic.
Possibly.
Love
I
it.
know that the surname was Green of one of my grandmas, because my mum always calls her Grandma Green.
Okay.
But I don't know. And then if I go a generation above, I'm not good at
You've
clue.
got, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's what? Is that 3 or
I think
4?
3.
3. That's pretty strong.
generations.
Okay. If I were to give it a go, I would say, so my parents' names are Larry and Sarah. My mom and dad are Roland and Jacqueline. Roland,
Strong
classic. And then I think my mom's name was Beatrice, unless that was my dad's mom's name. It was one of them, Beatrice. So again, a nice classic kind of old person name. Maybe we're bringing it back. And on my dad's side, my dad's name was Bob. Bob.
Strong name.
Strong. And his stepdad and mom's name were Ron and Karen. And I think my dad's name was JJ.
Oh, JJ. That's one that's kind of come back around.
I know. Well,
That's
I feel like it was something to do with military, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm
that makes
not
sense.
really sure. Anyway,
That's
these
a
are
lot.
it's quite a
That
lot.
is a lot.
That is only 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the same as you,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
But that's all right. Let's see how you guys do and see how far up the generations you can go when you're trying to remember people's names. So take a minute to do that, and then we'll join you once again.
So how well did you do, and how far back could you go? Maybe drop a comment and let us know. Well, today we are looking at honouring our parents. Not only is it one of the 10 Commandments, which you might have heard about in the Bible, but it's also a really wonderful and godly thing for us to do.
So what does it mean to care for and honor your parents? What do you think that will look like at different stages of your life as well as we grow older? Now, the book of Proverbs brings a lot of wisdom that we can use to help us live our lives well. So Lydia's just going to read a little bit from the Bible.
Yeah, so Proverbs 15 verse 20 says, "Sensible children bring joy to their father. Foolish children despise their mother." So just have a bit of a chat in your groups. What do you think it looks like to bring joy to your parents? Just take a moment to do that now.
Brilliant. Well, hope you had some really good discussion there about what it looks like to bring joy to your parents or your guardians.
Yeah, brilliant. So let's do a quick activity. So if you're watching this in your home, we want to challenge you to see if you can dress up as a parent or guardian. Of course, ask their permission first if you're going to try on some of their clothes, but see if you can make yourself look like one of your parents or your guardian.
Yeah.
You might want to pause the video to go and do that, and if you've got any pictures of that, we'd love to see them. It'd be hilarious to see them. And if you're watching at Riverside House or as a group in someone's home, I want you to actually get some paper and pens and, take a few minutes to draw your parent or guardian. What clothes do they wear? What is their style? Are they a casual dresser, or do they dress smart? Do they wear glasses? What's the hair like? And you have a few minutes, and once you get your paper, draw them, and then you can share the results with those you are with. So take a minute to do that now.
Wow, well, some of those drawings were pretty amazing, and the outfits that you wore as well.
Very amazing.
Yeah, we're just messing. We have no idea what you've
Not
drawn
got a clue.
or what you are wearing.
It could be awful, for all we
it,
know.
It might be awful, but hopefully at least it was a creative outlet for you guys to do. Now, whether you've drawn your parent or a guardian or dressed up as one, the reason we wanted you to do this was to see if you had paid attention to the details of what your parents look like and how they are. Now, Lydia, what's the definition actually of honoring?
So, interesting question, Nate. So the dictionary definition of honouring is actually someone is to hold them with great respect.
Okay, so to hold someone with great respect. Well, the first thing that we want to look at today is, in order to honour someone, you have to know them really well. Now, do you know your parents really well? Do you know what they like? Do they enjoy receiving gifts or spending quality time with you? Maybe they love it when you help out with house chores or give them a hug. There are actually lots of ways that we can love our parents well, and lots of ways that we can bring joy to our parents. Maybe you discussed it just a little while ago. On the flip side, however, I'm sure you can imagine or remember some times where you have really upset your parents. I know you can, don't pretend like you haven't ever done that. Maybe you've had some miscommunication, or maybe you've just been really selfish or said something rude. I know there's been times where I've done that as well.
Yeah.
So, in looking at what it looks like to honor our parents, we'd love you to have a little bit of a discussion now to see what does that really look like in practice? What does it look like to honor your parents? And also, the other question to add is, what does that look like as time goes on, as you grow older? How does honoring your parents change as you grow older? So have a little discussion now, and we'll come back together in just a moment.
Amazing. So I hope you had some great discussions there. So Nate, what's one way that you can honour your parents?
Well, I was thinking about this, and I feel so. My parents don't live in the same country. They don't live in the UK. They live on the other side of the world. And in not seeing them very often at all, not always by choice, I was trying to think about what that would look like for me to honor them. And I feel like one of the ways I can honor my parents is by speaking well of them, even when they're not there. So when I'm talking about my parents, when I'm mentioning the things that they do, is to really just build them up and kind of talk them up in some sense. So kind of talk about the good things that they do, talk about their good qualities, and how great they are, essentially. I feel like that's one good way to honor them.
Definitely.
How about you, Lydia?
Yeah, I love that. I think for me, because I don't have as much time at home as I used to with being at uni and being here, I think it's when I do have those times when I'm around my parents, just to make the most of that time and spend like quality time, whether that's just setting aside a time to go out with my parents and do something with them, or even when I'm at home, maybe putting my phone down and actually being present with them and actually, just spending a good time with them.
Love that. And do you feel like that changes in terms of kind of as we get older as well? Or how has that changed from when we were younger, maybe?
I think nowadays, I don't have to rely on my parents quite as much for things. So it's more of a, if I go home, it's more of probably a friendship, I guess, than actually kind of that responsibility thing. So I think it's more like I can just chat to my parents about normal stuff. It's just, more like a friendship, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like definitely when I was much younger, I'd probably, I don't know, I guess I'd honor my parents by definitely trying to obey them as much as possible, even when I was cheeky and didn't. But, I knew the right thing to do was to obey them. I think how has that changed, I guess, is because, like, we're adults now and sometimes they're not always there, like you said, to kind of make the decisions together. So I guess it's also maybe just getting their advice about something sometimes, as they know me quite well. So what's their advice that they could share into my life as well sometimes. But it's interesting how these things change, isn't it?
Change, definitely. So we've already chatted a little bit about age difference, and I hope you had some good discussions as well. But normally in society, we see parents looking after their children until they turn 18 and officially become adults and can look after themselves. When the reality is that more often than not, people, even at 18 or in their 20s, need a bit more support in finding their feet in the adult world. And there comes a point where you go from a parental figure and child to friends when you're a bit older, but then that might change again when your parents get very old and they might need you to actually look after them, which is a bit hard to imagine maybe at this point, but sometimes to honour our parents well is actually to care for them. Yeah.
Parents, of course, have a lot of wisdom and experience, and that's really wonderful. But also at the end of the day, parents are human too, and they can make mistakes and they can mess up sometimes. Now, the only one who doesn't make mistakes is God. But in all of this, we can still try our best to honor our parents and our guardians and do the right thing. The wonderful thing about being part of a church family is that we are all brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers to one another.
In Matthew 12, when the disciples told Jesus that his mother and brothers were standing outside, wanting to speak to him, he said, "Who is my mother and who are my brothers?" Pointing to his disciples, he said, "Here are my mother and my brothers, for whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother."
I love that because it makes me think like, wow, family is so much bigger than what we are kind of taught in society. Okay, so for you guys, who is someone in Riverside Church that you aren't related to by blood, but you still see as a mother or father figure? Who is someone who invests in you or supports you and teaches you maybe? Have you got an example of someone, Lydia?
Ooh. Well, I've not been in Riverside that long, but if I think to the church I was at just before moving to Riverside, there was a guy called Don who was in his 90s, so I guess it was more of a grandfather figure.
Nice.
But he used to always share so much wisdom. He actually wrote to me over lockdown a few letters of like wisdom and encouragement. So for me, that was like almost that kind of grandfather figure that's been a really encouragement to me.
I love that.
What about you?
I feel like there's probably a few people. I think especially because when I first came to this country on my own, I like I said earlier, I didn't have any family here, and so there were quite a few people that almost took me in, and they would cook meals for me, and they would kind of even just invite me around to play board games with them. And also, I've got a couple of people in Riverside that are definitely people who I would go to if I was kind of needing advice, or if I was sad, or just needing someone to kind of care for me in that sense. I think that's what's really beautiful about church, is that you can have those kind of relationships even when you're not related to them in the traditional sense. But what do you guys think? Go and have a chat with each other, and where are those other parental figure roles in your life? Maybe even outside of Riverside Church. Let us know, or let each other know, and then we'll join you once again.
Amazing. So if you haven't got someone like that yet, trust me, you will. And that's a wonderful thing about being part of the church family. But we want to leave you with this passage, which Nate is just going to read out for us.
So this is from 1 Timothy, it's chapter 5, verses 1 and 2, and then jumping to verse 8. It says this: "Do not speak angrily to an older man, but talk to him as if he were your father. Treat younger men like brothers. Treat older women like mothers, and younger women like sisters. Always treat them in a pure way. A believer should take care of his own relatives, especially his own family. If he does not do that, he has turned against the faith, and he is worse than a person who does not believe in God."
So we all have a responsibility to honor our father and mother or guardians, and only good things can come from that. And we have a responsibility to care for them as we grow older as well. But we can also rest on the knowledge that our family is bigger than just our household, that we have other mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers that we can honour, care for and support, and also receive the same honour and support from as well. So what is one practical way you can honour your parents this week? And that is our challenge that we want to leave you with. So just have a think about that. How can you honour your parents or guardians this week?
Brilliant. As you're having to think about that, I'm just going to pray. You guys can also pray as well to close your time together. But I'm going to pray that God will help us to honor our parents well, and then thank God for the larger church family that we have. And then you might want to pray in your own heart quietly, and I'm going to pray for us now. Father God, thank you so much that you have given us specific people in our lives to care for us, to look after us, to raise us, to invest in us. Father, even the people who are leading this session this morning, whoever that is. God, thank you that there are those people there who are willing to teach and support us. And I pray that everything that we've talked about today would help us, give us an idea of what it looks like to honor those figures well, our mother and father figures well, whoever they are. God, thank you especially for the wider church family that we have. That means we don't have to be alone, we don't have to be isolated, but we can receive honor and support from a big group of people, this church family that you've given us. Help us to listen to you as we seek new ways to honor these people in our lives. And ultimately, would you get the glory? Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, I think that's the end of the session with you guys. Like we said earlier, if you want to spend some more time praying about that, or maybe praying in pairs, feel free to do that.
Yeah, but thank you all for joining us today. We hope you've had a great time and some great chats, and yeah, we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.